In this problem, we need to solve the right triangle ABC with a right angle at C. We're told A is 62.3 inches and side C is 73.6 inches, and we need to round our answers to the nearest tenth. Whenever they ask you to solve a triangle, it means find all the missing parts. So the first thing you should always do is sketch out a triangle. So here's my right triangle, and we're told that angle C is the right angle. And so remember, the side opposite angle C is labeled little c, and we know in this case it's 73.6 inches. And it doesn't matter whether I call this angle A or this angle A. It makes no difference. So I'm just going to call this one angle A and this one angle B. Then the side opposite angle A over here is going to be little a. And we know A is 62.3 inches. And then the side opposite angle B is going to be little b, and we don't know what that is. So looking at our triangle, we don't know side B, we don't know angle A, we don't know angle B. So let's start off by finding side B. Whenever you know two sides of a right triangle, you always find the third one using the Pythagorean theorem. So we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a is 62.3 squared plus b squared, I'm trying to find b, is c squared 73.6 squared. So now taking out my calculator, I get 3881.29 plus b squared equals 5,416.96. Then I'm going to have to subtract this number from both sides to isolate my b squared. And I'm going to get b squared, and when I did that on the calculator, I got 1,535.67. So how am I going to find b? B is the square root. Now, since I'm dealing with sides of a triangle, I don't have to consider the negative answer. B has to be a positive number since it's the length of a side of a triangle. So I'm going to take the square root, and when I did that on my calculator, I got 39.1876 ... And it said to round to the nearest tenth. So that means the position of the 1, the 8 is going to round the 1 up. So I'm going to get B is 39.2, and then don't forget the units, inches. So I found side B. Now we need to find the angles. It doesn't matter which one I find first. I'm going to work with angle A to start with. So notice I now know B. But if I happen to mess up on finding B and did something wrong here and use side B to find angle A would also be incorrect. If you have a choice, always use given information. So can I find angle A using these two sides? Well, looking at angle A, what trig function involves the opposite and the hypotenuse? Those are both of my givens. So remember, let me write it up here. And mnemonic, SOHCAHTOA. So which one involves, remember, for angle A, this is the opposite and this is the hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse is the sine function. So I know that the sine of angle A is the opposite side, which is 62.3, divided by the hypotenuse, 73.6. So now, once I've got that, to find angle A, you have to use the inverse sine function. That is on most calculators, sine with a little -1 exponent of 62.3 over 73.6. And when I did that on my calculator, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. And I got 57.82 ... And remember, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, which is this position. So the 8 is not going to, the 2 is not going to change the 8, so it's 57.8 degrees. So I've now found angle A right there as 57.8 degrees. Please make sure that you put the degree symbol on there, because if you just wrote 57.8, you're telling me that's radians. You have to tell me it is in degrees. And now the last thing we have to do is find angle B up here. Now there's two different ways I can do this. The sum of the angles of the triangle have to add up to 180. But if I messed up getting angle A, angle B would also be wrong. So is there a way to find angle B using given information? Well, looking at angle B, side A is adjacent, side C is the hypotenuse. Which trig function is adjacent over hypotenuse? There it is, the cosine function. So I know that the cosine of angle B is its adjacent side, which is 62.3 divided by 73.6. So therefore B, I'm going to find by using inverse cosine of 62.3 divided by 73.6. Again, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. And when I did that, I got 32.170 ... So rounding that to the nearest tenth, that's the 1. The 7's going to round the 1 up. So I'm going to get 32.2 degrees. So now I found all the missing parts of my triangle. And now what we can do at the last is double check. If I add angle A to angle B to angle C, which is 90, do I get 180? And when you check that on your calculator, you do. So that's a great check, and you know you've got the problem correct.